Oh, look, absolutely. I mean, look, this is a very overdue improvement in the conditions of New South Wales prisons, and I suppose prisons generally, actually. What we're effectively talking about is allowing prisoners in their cells to use their time productively, to make sure that they don't sit bored watching television, and they actually can do things like education in their cells. They can do legal research for people who are on remand, and about 25% on remand, and effectively become mainstream, right, in their living space, and make sure that the continuing recidivism doesn't continue as it is.
What is the current situation like for prisoners in New South Wales?
Now, look, at the moment, there aren't computers in cells. In fact, what has happened in the past, there have been computers for some people, but then when a particular case went before the Supreme Court, challenging, in fact, a refusal of a particular prisoner's entitlement to use his computer inside his cell, all computers were taken out of all cells. So it's most unfortunate, and it's meant, in fact, that people have been unable to use their time productively at all.
So you argued that it will reduce, for example, the chances of prisoners reoffending. So how will computer access help achieve this?
Look, it's absolutely essential that prisoners inside their cells have some useful occupation. So instead of just trying to kill time and to watch television, instead they have a chance to actually use their time in front of a very similar box, and where they can watch the television and just zombie out effectively. With a computer, they can actually interact with the computer, do their courses, TAFE courses, learning new skills, and then, very importantly, also email through to their friends and to their families, and to maintain general contact. I mean, they're the sort of things that's happening in jails such as, for example, in the ACT, where that's been happening very successfully now for quite a long while, and there's certainly no reason at all why that shouldn't be available in New South Wales prisons. And the other thing is that there's generally an acceptance that this will happen. In fact, in the latest jail that's been built in New South Wales, called the Nowra jail, they've actually built in already a network into the cells. So it's certainly anticipated that prisoners will have access to computers, but that requires a political decision, right? It requires a decision where the politicians are prepared to say, well, we have to improve, and we have got to take on the issue of recidivism. We can't allow people just to vegetate in their cells without using their time productively. And I guess that's what it's about.
So are there political support in New South Wales for allowing computers in prisoner cells?
Oh, look, there certainly is. There's a lot of support, actually, to have computers in cells. In fact, we actually, as part of this proposal, then cast around for people who are a part of the service providers inside the prisons. And we've discovered that, in fact, first of all, the teachers themselves think it's very important. They've made a statement of support. The Community Justice Coalition, where the teachers are an important part, have made a strong statement. Likewise, the chaplains. They think it's very significant as well, even talking in terms of, from a religious perspective, that they think it's useful for people to have their own, even minority spiritual traditions to use the computer as a way in which they can open that up. And likewise, like the legal services area, have said how important it is. It means that people are able to do their research and ensure that they are on top of their defence, and as they're entitled to.
Now, aren't there any security risks associated with allowing computer access?
Not at all. In fact, we've actually been in contact with the company who at the moment is dealing with both in Melbourne and Victoria, and also with the ACT, a company called CyberSource, and they have foreseen no problem at all in using a secure server, right, where they can limit, in fact, who has access to which particular service providers, and any emails have to go through a filter, first of all, before they're allowed to go out and all allowed to come in.
Now, some might think this is just making life too easy for prisoners.
Oh, look, I think that's a foolish approach. And what we have got to do, after all, is make sure, first of all, that when we put people in jail, that they don't come out less able to survive in the community, where we have a level of recidivism, as it is now, like almost half return within 2 years. So, first of all, we end up with a lot of victims who are affected by the people who are released and then aren't able to survive in the outside community. So to have dangerous people coming out would be really silly, especially if you're trying to, for the sake of mainstreaming them and giving them access to what's essentially a human right. If you give them access to that, we end up with a safer community. That makes a lot of sense.